Hello, iRacing community, and welcome to Kansas Speedway tonight for race number 7 in the WCIParts.com Truck Series live here in Sim500 competition alongside Gael Brooks. Tonight I am Ben Kilcrease. Aaron Groskoff getting the picture that you see to you. Here we go. Gael Kansas Speedway was real exciting in the Trans Service Cup Series just this past Monday. But I do believe we'll see a different style of racing tonight here in the Truck Series. We'll see them get fanned out as the run goes on. Not so much of a big pack, and for some drivers that's a relief. For others, they're going to be struggling a little bit, but nonetheless, a completely different beast as opposed to what we saw Monday.
Yeah, it definitely won't be a Daytona Junior, if you will, for tonight. But these trucks will definitely put on a good show again. I'm looking at qualifying right now, and you've got the looks like top 10 are within a tenth of a second of each other in qualifying. So, yeah, there's gonna be some comer and goers. Let's say people are gonna have different strategies. Looks like about 35 laps on a fuel run. So yeah, I think it'll be a pretty exciting one tonight.
So if we get to the green flag pit stops, that'll be fun to watch, and maybe have some short pits here and there. You'll have a couple laps to work with, and we'll see which drivers decide to take advantage of those few laps as we get set to go green flag racing here at Kansas Speedway. Heading in to tonight, championship standings has Chad Cole atop of the leaderboard, 14 points ahead of Nick Silver, 14 back to Nick Silver, 25 back to Justin Fuller, 42 back to Trey Edson. Chad Coleman is 47 back. Then you have David Comstock, Steve Gottschalk, Tommy Ryan, E.J. O'Rourke, and Steve Ritter. You can find the full list of standings and schedule and all the stats you need at Sim500.com. Nonetheless, though, moments away from dropping the green flag tonight, looks like Trey Edson going to grab the pole here tonight at Kansas Speedway with a 30.707. And with that, it's now time to run you through tonight's starting lineup. So inside of row number 1, he'll lead us to the green flag. It's Trey Edson in the 40. Outside of him, it'll be Dwight Beverly in the number 12.
In row 2, you got the 99 of Tommy Ryan, followed by Randy Yoakum in the number 8 truck, starting 4th.
Jason Barham going to roll off 5th in the number 83. Outside of him, it'll be Brian Macklin in the number 30.
So next row, you have the 08 of Thomas O'Leary, the 4th, and then Chad Coleman.
E.J. O'Rourke is going to share the 5th row with Kevin DeBrown, 41.93. And that'll round out the top 10. The rest of the starting lineup scrolls across the bottom of your screen as we get set to go racing here under the lights at Kansas Speedway. A beautiful sunset as the backdrop. And as we do every week in the Truck Series, we'll pull up a driver, and that driver being tonight's pole sitter, Trey Edson. Sets quick time. He'll lead us to the green flag. Trey, Ben Kilcrease up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hope you're doing great, too. You're on the pole, so far, so good tonight. 100 laps here at Kansas. What's the strategy heading into tonight? It's going to be a completely different beast than what we had Monday in the Cup cars.
Yeah, I was about to say, I hope tonight goes better than Monday, where me and you were brawling for 18th with broke race cars. So, but yeah, I think you're gonna have a tight field. Track position will be everything. I'm gonna put this thing up against the wall and try to keep it there. And I feel like if you let anyone get to your right rear, you pretty much surrender the spot. So you're gonna have to be very protective and run the fence like Kyle Larson, but keep it out of it.
You think we'll see fuel strategy come into play tonight?
Yeah, because we run the I don't know what the proper term is for it, but our fuel burns faster than normal. So yeah, we'll have to. I didn't really do a good job of looking at the fuel numbers in practice when I did my long run, so I'm going to have to figure it out here once we get going. But it's always a factor in this series, so hopefully it doesn't come and bite me, though.
There you have it. Trey Edson leading us to the green flag tonight. Good luck tonight, Trey.
Appreciate it. You guys have a good one.
So Edson leading us to the green flag, looking to head back to victory lane in this series. He's got one win so far this season. 5 different winners in 6 races so far here in the WCIParts.com Truck Series. Paul Nicholas Cooper, David Comstock, Edson, O'Rourke, and Chad Cole. The most recent winner a couple weeks ago at Dover. Good looking paint scheme, as our producer points out, on that number 40. The 12 to the outside. Not a bad looking paint scheme as well for Dwight Beverly. It's a good looking front row, a good looking field here in the WCIParts.com Truck Series. Race number 7 getting set to go green. They stack them up 2 by 2 by 2. Race number 7 at Kansas Speedway is underway.
So it was a good start by Trey Edson. Gets a good little gap there in front of the 12 Dwight Beverly, saying right behind him, following in is Tommy Ryan, and going to fill in their second spot. So obviously, as they get up to speed, the bottom is going to be where you want to go. But once they get that momentum, that's like he was mentioning, you're going to want to be up top to kind of protect that. But you might see some people try to save their stuff and see if they can make the bottom work. But it's going to be, I think that's going to be where the challenge is for sure.
I'd say around 3-4 laps around the bottom, and then we'll see the trucks start to move up the racetrack. Some 3 wide action back here between Justin Fuller, Kevin Brown, and looks to be the 83 of Jason Barrow. Close calls here early on as Fuller trying to work his way through the field there in the 51. Looks like he got a little loose there off of turn 2, or maybe just playing those signature Fuller games with O'Rourke down the back straightaway. Nonetheless, though, don't need to get in any trouble this early on. Lap 2 of 100 about to be complete, and a great battle there for that 6th position right behind Chad Coleman. He's got a mirror full of it. Top 5 sort of singled out and up against the wall. Actually, Dwight Beverly going to tag the outside safer barrier, throw a little sparks back into this battle for 6th position. It's side by side. Randy Yoakum, Justin Fuller, Jason Barham. They're all throw a blanket over them down into turn number 3. Great battle going on. Door to door, nose to tailgate is Fuller right on the rear bumper of Yoakum to the front straightaway to complete lap 3.
Yeah, and that's the risk of having to run that. So he's trying to make it 3 wide here, inning 1. They do go 3 wide. So he's going to try to see if he can clear the 8 truck, but I don't think he's going to have the momentum. So I think, and this might even be something where you might see those potential slide jobs where you might see Fuller try to send it real deep and then try to back it out when he gets back to the top, which so it looks like you got a really good entry in 1. It's really tight. I was saying that's the thing. You got to be all the way clear to make that happen. So you either have to hope that guy's going to back out or, yeah, make sure you're all the way clear because that was tight.
Oh man, Brown almost put it to the outside of Yoakum there to make it 3 wide for that 6th position. Fuller continuing to battle side by side. He'll use the bottom side of the racetrack, at least for now. But you see Yoakum, just you can't compare with the run that they get from the outside. Fuller again tries the bottom side to no avail off turn 4. Still side by side they go. Fuller runs him up the racetrack a little bit. Now turns down to the apron, trying to get every piece of side draft that he can. And oh man, they come close down in turn number 1. That's going to be the story of the night. And these guys are running up on Chad Coleman pretty quick as well. Not missing anything up front. It's Trey Edson, Tommy Ryan, Brian Macklin, top 3. Dwight Beverly sits 4th. And then you have Chad Coleman kind of leading now this battle for 5th.
Yeah, so that's where things get a little risky. Say you kind of try all you can to get that position, and it just doesn't seem like it's going to work. And that's exactly what Trey was saying. Is that once you get something to that right rear corner, you might be in trouble there. Although it looked like Yoakum may have made a little mistake there.
Oh, and Fuller going to get the bumper, and around goes Yoakum, and caution going to be out for the first time tonight. That is the first failed slide job attempt, I do believe, that we'll see tonight. And Randy Yoakum going to be involved in that one, as is Kevin Brown. And that's just a product here at Kansas, Gael. You just, do your best to try and slide up in front of the person, and sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it's early, so maybe there may have been an assumption that he was going to lift and let him hold that position. But at the same time, I mean, there's no guarantees on that, so it's risk versus reward. So he took the risk, and unfortunately, there was no reward on that one. He got some good damage on that one. Saying, yeah, unfortunately as well for Randy Yoakum, and I'm sure neither of them are happy about that situation. And saying the unfortunate bystander there is Kevin DeBrown, so he's got a fair bit of nose damage on his '93 truck as well.
Yeah, I got the back end of Yoakum there as they all checked up off turn 2, and Took out a handful of good trucks there. That'll be headed to the back of the pack for this restart after getting some damage repaired. So, first caution of the night comes over in turn number 2 and on lap number 7 as we head pit side for the first time this evening. Everybody heading down to the service of their teams. Sure, we'll see 4 tires and fuel. We may have a gambler with 2. That's about a 7-lap run, Gael. If you're going to do it, now would be the time to try this early in the run.
Yeah, if I was looking for track position, this would be the exact time I would go after it to see what it does, and that way you know for later in the race. If you do get that late race yellow, say just give it a try. So we'll see if anybody takes the risk. Up front, looks like it's 4 tires all around. I don't think I see too many risk takers so far. Maybe the one right there with the EJ O'Rourke.
So O'Rourke going to try the 2 tires, and he'll lead us back to the green flag here at Kansas Speedway. Richard Swavely did stay out. We'll possibly expect him down this next time by in that 38 Kellogg's Toyota Tundra. Good-looking machine up there, maybe trying to grab a lap lead point here tonight at Kansas. So Richard Swavely, unofficially the leader right now. O'Rourke second. We'll see if Swavely heads pit side this time by. I wouldn't, imagine him staying out on 7-lap tires, and he'll duck to the apron and head down to the service of his team. So that surrenders the lead to EJ O'Rourke. It'll be Trey Edson rolling off second for this restart. Third will be Tommy Ryan, Dwight Beverly going to be fourth, Brian Macklin fifth, Kevin Brown with a nose damage sixth, Chad Coleman seventh, Jimmy North up to eighth. Ryan Howard will be ninth, and 10th to the big cat, Chad Cole.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to see Kevin Brown up there still. I kind of figured he would just get everything fixed while he could and then go after it. But I say it might be one of those things where he thinks that draft will just play big enough of a role. So stay up front as best you can, and then, yeah, just see if the draft will be enough to pull him around.
I just hope that the damage doesn't slow that truck down too much. It's quite a bit of damage on the front end of that NOS Energy Chevrolet Silverado. Nonetheless, though, getting set to restart the field here on lap number 10, 1/10 of the way complete here in race number 7 for the WCIParts.com Truck Series. So glad you've tuned in tonight. Tonight's race is part of our Triple Threat streaming service here at the Sim Racing Network, streaming live to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And we remind you, no matter what platform you're on, to be sure to give us a follow, give the video a like, and turn on notifications so you can be notified whenever we go live right here at the SRN. Pace car heads to the safety of pit road. It's EJ O'Rourke on 2 tires versus a slew of trucks on 4 behind him. Green flag back in the air, and a good jump there for O'Rourke. He'll lead the field down into turn number 1.
Yeah, this is where we're going to really see how the 2 versus 4 plays out. I'd say there were 2 other trucks that took 2 tires. Was the 48 of Jimmy North in 9th, as well as the 14 of Joey Jatina and the 14 truck. He's in 14th place after starting 30th. So we'll see how they fare also in the mid-pack. But yeah, I think this will be a good tell to see how things work out with the 2 versus 4.
So it is side by side for third between Macklin and Tommy Ryan. Ryan using the outside momentum to his advantage. You see Kevin Brown has made it up to 5th there on the restart. Keep an eye on that number 93 as the run goes on. That's severely damaged in the most recent caution. You see Dwight Beverly trying to fight the inside there in the 12. Gets a good run to the back straightaway, and this may be a problem for Brown. If he starts to hold people up, they're going to get impatient with him. But for the most part, Gael looks like he's keeping his own and keeping speed, at least for now.
Yeah, so he's definitely holding on to these guys in front of him, not like he's losing tenths and tenths. So say that I think, like we said, the key's going to be he's going to really need to hold the draft of those trucks in front of him. He might wind up abusing his right front a little extra, just having to push that extra bit to hang on to the draft. But I'm sure a lot of those guys around know he was involved, and they're going to try to jump on any chance they can to take advantage of it.
So we'll continue to watch Brown there as they get singled out. For the most part, it's EJ O'Rourke leading the field here at Kansas. How about that? Doing a great job on the 2 tires, at least for now, as he is stalked by that number 40 machine of Trey Edson. O'Rourke picked up a victory a couple weeks back at Talladega, looking for maybe another one tonight here at Kansas.
Yeah, saying unless my paint schemes aren't up to date, I'll say also a nice way to put the sponsor of the series up front there with WCIparts.com on the front of his Chevrolet. So it's always a way to get the sponsor some additional TV time. I see that sponsor up front, I'm sure.
Absolutely, looking great up there is O'Rourke, and see him continuing to try and break the draft of Trey Edson. I don't know if it's helping him any or hurting him. Edson is just so much quicker on the 4 tires. It's only going to be a matter of time before he finds a way around that 41. You know, I say that, and you know, EJ O'Rourke could go on to lead us all the way up until green flag pit stops. You just never know with this racetrack and the style of you know, drafting and racing that you have to do here at Kansas, especially here in the trucks. So hard to pass. O'Rourke might lead this thing all the way to the checkered flag now.
Yeah, and I just noticed a lap ago or so, Dwight Beverly got a little bit into the wall in 1 and 2, and fortunately for Chad Cole, didn't have anywhere to go, so he's got some right front damage to his truck as well as Beverly. So that's the other problem when you have all these trucks just riding the wall. It just really opens you up to just chances of getting into some situations that you'd rather not have.
So we'll keep an eye now on Chad Cole with the damage. Their crossover incorporated motorsports truck in the top 10. Damage on the nose. He sits 7th right now. Ryan Howard closely behind there in 8th and a 33. Good run for Howard. Good run for Gottschalk there as well in the 91. He sits 9th. Jason Barham rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, I'm saying I think people are going to take note of this 2-tire strategy by EJ, like we were talking about, because I mean we've been going almost about 10 laps now since this restart, and he's able to hold on to the lead. I mean, we don't know obviously how hard Trey is pushing right now. I believe they are teammates. However, at the same time, I'm sure if Trey could kind of get by him and make a run as he is taking a look on the inside now, say if he can make the run for it, which let's say I think we might see that slide job attempt, or there might be some teamwork. It's hard to say.
Looks like O'Rourke just kind of gave the position to Edson, so now Edson back out in front of the field. He takes the lead here in Kansas Speedway. Lap 19 as we start to flick him off here. Had the first problem battling for a position inside the top 10, and after that it's been, or before and even after that, it's been fairly clean around the racetrack. Everybody giving a lot of room. And, you know, for the most part, Gael just riding the top side of the racetrack, everybody minding their own business. As we see Ryan Howard gets around Chad Cole there for 7th. Gottschalk and Barham going to be battling for the 9th position coming up.
Yeah, so it looks like up front, yes, everybody's kind of just content to let where things are. So it looks like where it's getting a little busy is like around the 20th place or so. There's a lot of 2x2 going on with the, let's see, the 46 of JD Laird, the 08 of Thomas O'Leary, the 5 of Chris Jabot. So yeah, there's still some battles going on. I'm a little surprised to see David Comstock here back in the 21st position as well. So yeah, so back here though, they're definitely scrapping for positions.
Look a little bit further back, O'Leary and Gaboo and Comstock going at it for a spot there just inside the top 20. That's the 19th position. O'Leary slides up a bumper from Gaboo. Gaboo a little out of shape down the back straightaway. That allows Comstock to get to his outside. Gaboo a little bit of damage on the right front of that machine. Comstock's also got some damage on the right front. So a lot of these truckers taking some hits early on here at Kansas, but doesn't seem to be slowing them down. Look at Comstock trying to get to the outside of O'Leary. Can't quite do it down into turn number 1. We race lap 22 of 100, and that's the battle for 19th on screen right now. Comstock started way back in 33rd. Worked his way up 20th so far.
Oh, that makes more sense. I was trying to figure out how he was back there. So yeah, actually starting in the backwood. I'll say that might be a big part of it.
Absolutely. Comstock didn't get the best qualifying effort, so that put him a little bit further back than he would like to have been. JD Laird just in front of those guys. He started 34th and is up to the 18th position, so another big mover there for the 46 machine as they go side by side for 19th. Comstock going to try and, I thought he was going to try to slide job there. I'll have to wait a couple more laps to get the momentum built back up. Comstock right on the bumper of the 08, and just in front of them, some heavy traffic starting to develop. Jeff Ryan and J.D. Lair are going to go at it for the 16th position down into turn number 1. That's a side-by-side battle for a spot just outside the top 15. Jeff Ryan gets the momentum off of turn 2. J.D. Lair down low. Going to have to regroup and maybe try it again as Paul Nicholas Cooper begins to grow larger and larger in the windshield of O'Leary. O'Leary down to the bottom looking for a slide job. Can't get the job done off turn 4. And that may surrender the outside to David Comstock. And Comstock to the outside. He'll get the position there. We'll see if O'Leary tries to slide the 42 down to turn 1. It's ahead of him, but not enough off of turn 2. Or is it? Oh, man. Close call there as O'Leary and Comstock almost come together.
Yeah, so you could feel it. He's like, I got this, I don't got this. And say kind of discretion's better part of valor at that point. I say, but yeah, and that's the thing is you make that run. If you don't get it, if you've got somebody inside of you, they're gonna try to take full advantage of it. So definitely a risk versus reward move. It's like, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm faster than this guy, but if I can't get around him, now what's gonna happen?
Absolutely, and you see Nicholas Cooper there in the 18 starting to hold up Comstock in the outside line. That's allowed O'Leary to get to the inside of the 18. Just in front of them, Jeff Ryan's going to be the next truck they'll run up on. So O'Leary might be in the catbird seat down low here to make up some positions as he cuts all the way down to the grass through the front straightaway there to the dog leg. And boy, heavy traffic right in front of him. Multiple different lines being ran throughout that group. Jimmy North kind of leads that battle over Jay Graves Jr., David Emig, and Jeff Ryan. And here comes Nicholas Cooper and O'Leary Comstock. They run up on him like they're sitting still.
Yeah, I'll say now you see, of course, and then now you've got Paul Nicholas Cooper drops to the bottom, so Comstock's going to try to take advantage of that to get to his outside. I'll say, well, O'Leary is finally able to get by Paul Nicholas Cooper, and now he's setting his sights on Jeff Ryan. So yeah, say if you can keep your tires under you, I think you can make the bottom work. But yeah, it's definitely takes a lot of effort as he slides right across the nose. Man, of Jeff Ryan, that was close.
Oh, and Ryan gets the wall midway through the back straightaway. That checks him up and allows Comstock to get to the inside. So Comstock says, I'll take that position just like that. And off turn 4, move those guys up a couple of positions. O'Leary will go up to 17th, Comstock to 18th, and O'Leary, wow, he had to get out of the throttle there. The two almost come across his nose down into turn number 1. That's David Emig. That's a battle for 16th between those two drivers.
Yeah, so they're kind of single filed out a little bit now, but yeah, that was a really close call. And I'm saying it looks like that's kind of how things are spreading out right now. And yeah, some of that damage from it looks like Chad Cole and then Kevin Brown's kind of catching up to them. They've dropped back now to the 8th and 9th positions with Steve Gottschalk getting around them. And then the 2 tires of E.J. Rooks dropped him back to 4th place. But I mean, as a whole, though, I think that was definitely a pretty good risk to take because he's holding his own pretty well.
Absolutely. Definitely later in the run, keep tabs on if we get a short run like that, less than 10 laps, and we have a driver come in for 2, you know, it may be a good opportunity for someone to pick up a win. Kevin Brown in the wall on the front straightaway, and around goes the 93 and the 15 of Silver. Through the grass, Silver comes back up the track. Doesn't, oh, and there we go, big one. This Comstock is upside down. It's the huge one on the front straightaway here at Kansas. Oh, yeah, my.
Unfortunately, I say you could see he was trying to catch it, and then just it kind of went and grabbed back to the right. I say, we'll take a look at the replay here.
That all happened with Kevin Brown getting into the wall off of turn 4. Nick Silver had nowhere to go but into the back of him, and then those two both went through the grass. Silver back up on the track, just right in front of everybody.
I say David's not going to be happy though, because he saw it coming. He was checking up, but he unfortunately actually got hit at a pretty good rate of speed by the 18 of Paul Nicholas Cooper. So I think there's going to be probably some chatting like, hey, didn't you see that happening?
Yeah, I think Cooper and the 51 both had a head full of steam coming in there. No intentions of maybe missing the crash there by any of those drivers. They were still full on. I think Comstock was about the only one that checked up for it. Him and the 67 of Ryan saw the 15 up the track, and everybody else either blinded by the trucks in front of them or just trying to get by it as quick as they can. Ended up causing some more melee on the front stretch there. There's a lot of trucks involved in that. Wow.
Yeah, I'd say I was a little over 20 lap run. Say works out well for EJ there. Say now he's able to pit. Obviously, everybody here is going to for sure take 4 tires. Be curious to see if some of those trucks that had the little bit of damage earlier, like Chad Cole, if he tries to get that fixed, or again, if the track position is the most important part of it.
So we'll certainly see as we are 1/3 of the way complete here at Kansas Speedway. We'll update you on who comes out where, maybe if we have any strategy calls or not as well. You're watching the WCIparts.com Truck Series live right here on the Sim Racing Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep you on corner to corner. We're going to keep on trucking from Kansas.
All right, Watson, let's analyze the chemicals in this cigarette smoke. Cadmium?
Check.
Formaldehyde?
Check.
Arsenic?
Sir, isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Yeah. Arsenic, poison.
Oh, what was I thinking, sir? It's not like we're gonna smoke them.
Neither will the rats.
Tobacco is no joke. Cigarette smoke has over 7,000 chemicals. Learn more at thefactsnow.com.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
My doctor calls me and says, Chris, I have the results of your scan. This is saying you have lung cancer. And that was probably the single most shocking thing anyone's ever told me in my life.
How can I have lung cancer? I'm 39. How can I have lung cancer? I do kick myself almost daily for ever starting smoking. I really do.
Quit your way. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com.
Welcome back to Kansas Speedway. 29 trucks still on the lead lap. A couple have retired, those being Paul Nicholas Cooper and Jonathan Lockhart. 37 trucks started the race. I said 29 still on the lead lap. Trey Edson will lead us back to the green flag alongside Brian Macklin and Edson for the first time tonight. Going to choose the outsider for the first time. Leader tonight has chosen the outside line for the restart. Edson there in the 40, Macklin in the 30. Then it's Tommy Ryan third, Chad Coleman in fourth, and how about Steve Gottschalk up inside the top 5? And look back there in 8th. From 34th, it's J.D. Laird.
Yeah, that's a really good run, especially for only being 35 in here right as we're about to go green.
Field stacked up 2 by 2 by 2. Edson really creeps him to a crawl down the front stretch and finally hammers the throttle, and we're back underway here with 65 laps to go at Kansas. Edson down to the inside 30 machine right up on his tailgate as they run down into turn number 3.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that either. So, I mean, I guess it's worth trying at some point, and obviously not at the very end of the race, but yeah, I mean, just since you are able to run the bottom for about a lap or two before it gets full song, yeah, I would have stayed on the bottom personally, but so he's able to hold the lead for now. Oh, we got trouble in the front stretch.
Third caution of the night. This one going to be involving the 78 machine of Dave Coburn. He gets a piece of it with the 08 machine of Thomas O'Leary. 3 wide, gone wrong down the front straightaway through the dog leg.
Yeah, looks like it was 78 and the 08, like you said.
Oh, man, 85 just had nowhere to go. That was Kenny Levenge. '80 of Creighton also gets a piece of it there.
Yeah,
Very
that
own
was...
John Mushton made it through as, oh man, Brian Wortman also got a piece of it. So we've had some last 2 cautions on the front stretch have been pretty major, including this most recent one as that took out a good 5-6 trucks there heading down into turn number 1.
Yeah, there's some really close calls, like I said, with our own John Mustian. That was, I don't know how he didn't get caught up in that. Even Chad Cole, after getting his damaged fixed, there's some really close calls for him as well. So say both those guys catch a break and hopefully can make the most of it out of this one.
So caution out for the 3rd time. Speaking of our very own John Mustian Jr., let's see how driver of the number 3 is doing. John, Ben Kilcrease up here in the SRN booth. Have you opened your eyes after that most recent incident there on the front stretch?
1 second, I'm taking another swig of oxygen here just for a second. Oh yeah, man. There's a reason I hang out in the back these days, Ben. I just don't feel like bending any more fenders.
Oh man, it has been a wild one.
It really has.
We've had a couple of good green flag runs, but for the most part, a wild races. I didn't mean to catch you while you were pitting here, but you're a professional. We can still talk with you, but nonetheless, though, it's been a very a different race, much different than the Cup Series we saw on Monday. Talk about how hard it is to pass back there in the pack, and what it's like racing, with a top line dominant track.
Well, that's the crazy thing, Ben. With the Cup package, you could drive the damn car anywhere. You could pass high, low, middle. I mean, wherever you can get it done at. But with this truck, for whatever reason, the top line's it, man. I tried getting around a couple of guys early in the race on like mid to low, and it just wasn't happening. You lose way too much momentum. So, I'm just going to hang out in the back and try and survive this thing. And before we go, I just want to say hello to my wife and daughter. They're up in Shreveport. My daughter's in the hospital with cystic fibrosis. Been there for almost 2 weeks. Hopefully they might get to come home tomorrow.
Good deal. We hope they do as well, and wish you the best of luck in the race. And hello to the family out there. I miss you a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for pulling me up, and thanks for having the word with me. And you guys keep doing what you do up there in the booth.
Absolutely. We'll do our job. You do yours down there on the track.
Okay.
That's John Mustian chatting with us under this caution. Always good to pull John up and chat with him under yellow. He always gives us a laugh up here in the booth, and does a great job by himself up here in the booth as well with Don Runkle Jr. on Monday nights for the Trans Service Cup Series. I know you shared the floor with him a couple times, Gael. We've got a great group of people here at the Sim Racing Network. So glad everybody is a part of this great organization. Sometimes we call it a circus. Sometimes we call it an organization.
Yeah, I say as long as we get the job done. Say we might be a dysfunctional family, but I say it works for all of us.
Absolutely. It's Trey Edson leading here at Kansas with 40 in the books. Officially be in the books at the line this time by 60 laps to go. And producer just pointing that out. 40 leads on lap number 40. So how about that? Brian Macklin wants to kind of jump up there and break that trend, though. Maybe he'll be leading by 30 to go, number 30. So we'll keep that in mind as we continue to pace here at Kansas. Third caution of the night you're seeing right now. Third slowdown is looking to turn the lights off this time by as the field set to double up. And there they go. Lights off, top to iRacing.com. Ford Mustang pace car. We're set to go back racing here at Kansas. A lot of trucks inside the top 10 that we didn't expect to see up here, especially this early on. One being J.D. Laird from 34th up to 6th. Steve Gottschalk, I tell you what, he has just had a horrendous past couple of weeks as far as luck goes. Great to see him having a good run there in 5th. He's up from 13th. Ryan Howard, he always finds himself in the mix there. He's up to 7th in the 33. And how about Joey Jattina from 30th to 9th here on this restart? Good run for the driver of the number 14 machine.
Yeah, so make sure you don't leave out the main honcho of the Sim500 series. And yeah, so I'm a little biased, obviously, with Steve Gottschalk being one of my Steel Horse teammates, but I'd like to see him get some of that bad luck turned around tonight.
Absolutely. I think everybody in Sim500 would mind if Gottschalk had a good run. So here we go. We don't have any printed up cams around the racetrack, but we'll do our best as we go on board with Trey Edson. We'll go a lap with him here as he comes up to speed. We're turning it up at Kansas. Well, give it to Trey Edson that time by 2/1000ths of a second. He leads that lap over the 30 of Brian Macklin, and if Macklin doesn't get back up the track, he may not have a spot in line. He slides up in front of the 99 there, and now everybody kind of congoing back around the top side of the racetrack. J.D. Laird, one of the first trucks trying to make it work, down on the low side there in the 46 machine. They'll battle for the 5th position. Back there, it's Laird and Gottschalk side by side, and O'Rourke, big check up there from the 41 as he had to hop back up into the top groove there in order to keep his position where he's at. Look at Ryan Howard there in the 33, tucked right up on the tailgate of Gottschalk as they race down into turn number 3. Says, not today, Laird. You chose to go down there. I'm going to steal this position from you on the outside.
Yeah, so that's that momentum like we talked about, and again, they gotta protect it as best they can. I say Steve really wants to try to get all the way down there, but he wanted to make sure he didn't chop the nose of JD to make sure that don't ruffle feathers at this point of the race. But yeah, so almost just about what 5 laps to halfway here.
Absolutely, working 45 of 100, easing up on the halfway point here at Kansas. It is all Trey Edson out in front of the field. Brian Macklin sits second. Third is Tommy Ryan. Fourth to Chad Coleman, and Steve Gottschalk continues to round out the top 5. Great run there for the 91. Just can't get over how awesome it would be to see him finish inside the top 5 after the luck he's had over the past couple of weeks here in Sim500 competition. Look at J.D. Laird close right up to the bumper of Ryan Howard off of turn 2. Got a good run off of 2 and maybe trying to get something put together down in turn 3 is what I was trying to say, as can't really find the grip he needs though. Down low there off turn 4. They'll go side by side for a brief moment, but now Laird in jeopardy of losing another position as O'Rourke tries to slide up to the outside of the 46.
Yeah, so I think this is it seems like pretty much you've got maybe a lap or so on the bottom, then you really got to just get to the top, and then from there I think you just kind of try to pace yourself, save your tires, and then basically as the other trucks start burning theirs up towards that second half of the run, that's when you got to try to make those moves to the bottom. Because yeah, at this point I think everybody's still just too even on their tires, and yeah, it's just he'll probably be stuck with him for a while. Then he's going to be fighting with EJ, and it's just going to kind of, I think, continue from there.
So we'll continue to watch the battle. Sean Yoder checking in, usually fills in the booth with me on the Wednesday nights. Had to head to the ER as you hear my phone continuing to go off, so wish him the best of quick recoveries there with a lower extremity injury, we'll put it that way. So hopefully he gets that all taken care of and returns back to the booth. soon. Nonetheless, though, it's J.D. Laird continuing to battle side by side with Ryan Howard for that 6th position, and E.J. O'Rourke in the mix there as well. Laird has a spot right behind the 46, and I was going to say if he doesn't jump up into it, he might even lose a couple more. So he decides to file in the line. Boy, this is so much different than what we saw on Monday night. Gael, it's almost insane to think that, you know, in the cup cars you can run all the way around the bottom, smooth as silk for, you know, a good 10, 15, 20 laps, and then in here in the trucks, if you're not up to the top shelf of the speedway by lap 2, you're going to get freight trained.
Yeah, it's a whole different animal for sure. So I'm really impressed with. I don't know what Trey's found. I mean, obviously they're all running the top line, but Trey is just pulling away. He's running about half a tenth to a tenth quicker than Macklin, and saying he's pulled away to a 1.2 second lead over the field. And I mean, they all got the draft and everything else, but he's just gapping them.
There's David Comstock getting lapped by the field. He sits 32nd. Not the run that he wanted tonight by any means. And boy, that truck severely off the pace, barely reaching 160 on the straightaways. A bad break for Comstock there, who was headed through the field. He started way back in outside the top 30. Started 33rd. And made his way almost inside the top 15 when disaster struck, and we ride on board with him just to show you the lack of power in that machine. And you see Kevin Brown getting by him on the outside there, the number 93. He sits 16th now as he's trying to regroup from some contact in this race. He's got a piece of the wall, had a piece of another truck. Not the best run there for the 93 as well. A lot of bad luck floating around here at Kansas, but a lot of good drives for a good portion of the field. Oh, one truck in the wall right in front of Brown there as they go 3 wide back there. Looks like the Sean Casto machine turns it down to the inside of Jay Graves Jr. The 86 got a piece of the wall last time by in 1 and 2. Had to really put the binders on.
Yeah, so it looks like tires are starting to wear. We got about 20 laps on the tires right now, and so you see Chad Cole trying to get around the 2. Now he's also trying to get to the outside of Jason Behrman. 83 go pretty much 3 wide. Oh, the 2 gets into the wall a little bit in 1 and 2 there.
Well, we've got action all over the place back here around the 10th, 11th, 12th position. Casto leads that battle there in the 52. Good-looking 52. Out in front of this little pack. And Jay Graves Jr. there in the 86. Jason Barham and Chad Cole sort of battling a little bit further on. Chad Cole has had a absolute stellar season across the board here in Sim500 all season long. Had a couple of mishaps in the Cup Series, but for the most part here in the trucks and the Xfinity cars, he's had a great effort. Leads the championship standings here in the trucks, and just had a little bit of bad luck earlier on in the night. He sits 12th right now, trying to find his way back into the top 10, looking to get to the inside of Jay Graves Jr. That would be the battle for 11th.
Yeah, so I think you're going to see him probably send it in pretty deep here, see if he can get that to clear, and then try to slide up in front of him if he's able to make it. So it's real close, but looks like he will be able to make it work. Now he just has to, 1, be careful of the crossover, and 2, make sure he doesn't get run over if he loses that momentum. So I think that's the key is, so yeah, you can clear him, but if you're going 10 miles an hour slower, it's really tough for that truck behind you not to just wind up dumping you.
Absolutely, that's what we saw happen in the first caution. One truck tried the slide job, but just lost too much momentum, and everybody behind him really just didn't have time to check up, and just got into the back and put us under the first slowdown of the race. Up front, Brian Macklin in the 30 is trying the bottom side of the racetrack, down in 1 and 2. Lost a little bit of ground to Tommy Ryan there, but it didn't look to slow him down too much last time by. We'll see if he tries that any more over the course of this run. And with Trey Edson out in front like he is with a 1 second lead, Gael, you got to think these guys are starting to wonder what they can do to catch him.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what Brian was doing. It's like, okay, see if there's anything now on the bottom side. Everybody's been running the top. That groove might get a little hotter, so see if maybe we can arc it down a little bit and find just that little bit extra. Say it's these guys are good at finding where the speed is after, like during the run. So it didn't look like that idea worked, but say that he regrouped, went back up top. I'm trying to look at the lap time still, and yeah, they're about half a tenth apart of each other. I think Trey just got lightly into the wall in 1 and 2. Wasn't much, but just enough. You gotta be careful there.
If he didn't touch it, you couldn't have slid a credit card in between he and the safer barrier. Trey Edson cutting it close as Brian Macklin trying to close the gap. Tommy Ryan sits third. Fourth is Chad Coleman, who's really started to come alive. I've watched him over the course of this run. He's starting to pull in closer and closer to the bumper of third place Ryan, as still about dead even throughout the whole field back from Trey Edson. So top four pretty much running the same lap time. Steve Gottschalk 2.5 back from leader Trey Edson. They're going at it for the 5th spot. Gottschalk holding off Howard and J.D. Laird and O'Rourke. They're going at it for the 7th position. Laird gets around the O'Rourke machine there, and somewhere Laird has made some contact with another truck, got some front end damage on that 46 that I don't recall seeing earlier in the race.
Yeah, so I think EJ cut JD a little bit of some slack there that last time by when he let him by. So he actually lifted a little bit off of 2 and let him slide on up there. So that was a really close call. As behind him, there's an even closer call. I think looked like the 82 of Chad Cole and the 52 may have had some contact in 1 and 2 with Chad trying to make that pass. Yeah, Chad slid up a little bit into the 52 Sean Casto. I say just shows how tough it is to pass with these things right now as it sits.
Absolutely, it's a bitter feel as a driver to know you're faster than somebody, but you can't get around them due to the track being a one groove dominant speedway. It's really frustrating, and that's really why Kansas has got a big circle around it on a lot of people's schedule. They just don't like it, or if they do find a little bit of likeliness for it, they try their best to out-qualify the rest of the field and have some real good track positions starting the race. There's a good battle there between Casto and Barham going on for that 11th or 12th position, 52.83 on the track. Casto and Barham kind of trading it up with Brown falling just behind him there in 14th, kind of getting a good front row ticket to the show.
Yes, and I think we're going to be pretty close here on seeing some pit stops pretty soon. Say we're about 32 laps into this run. I say obviously there was that caution right after the start, so I'll say they'll probably save them a couple laps. But I think within about maybe 5-10 at the most laps, I think you're going to see trucks start peeling off, and I think that should put them in their pit window to make it here from the one stop all the way to the end of the race. So I'll be curious to see if someone tries to short route. As I say that,
that'll change some things. Just as Brian Macklin had cut 3/10 off the lead in the past couple laps, this caution coming between David Emig and Jimmy North, 2 and 48 off turn 2, and it was a 3-wide situation. And that just saw the 2 machines sliding up into Jimmy North, and around North goes. And the 2 of Emig also going to go for a spin as well.
Yeah, just didn't have that grip to hold the middle. Unfortunately, slid up into the 48. I think Jimmy North should be in pretty good shape, though. Say he's maybe caught a little bit of the right rear up against the wall, and obviously some of the left rear from where he got hit. But as a whole, though, that truck's looking pretty good shape. He needs some tires and everything, but I think he'll be able to recover from this and still try to challenge to recover from those lost spots.
So we said 35 laps on a tank of fuel, 35 laps to go, and everybody comes down pit road. So this will be the final fuel stop of the night. Maybe if we have a later caution, could see some tire strategy come into play, but from here on out, we'll be good on fuel, and hopefully good all the way to the checkered flag once we go back green, serving caution number 4 here in the WCIParts.com Truck Series. You're watching it live on the Sim Racing Network. Don't go anywhere. You'll see all the pit stops and who comes out where on Corner to Corner. We're going to keep on trucking from Kansas.
All right, Watson, let's analyze the chemicals in this cigarette smoke. Cadmium?
Check.
Formaldehyde?
Check.
Arsenic?
Sir, isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Yeah, isn't arsenic what they use in rat poison?
Oh, what was I thinking, sir? It's not like we're gonna smoke them.
Neither will the rats.
Tobacco is no joke. Cigarette smoke has over 7,000 chemicals. Learn more at thefactsnow.com.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
My doctor calls me and says, Chris, I have the results of your scan. This is saying you have lung cancer. And that was probably the single most shocking thing anyone's ever told me in my life.
How can I have lung cancer? I'm 39. How can I have lung cancer? I do kick myself almost daily for ever starting smoking. I really do.
Quit your way. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com.
Welcome back to the Kansas Speedway. 32 laps to go when we get the green flag. It's Trey Edson, Tommy Ryan, Chad Coleman, Steve Gottschalk, and Ryan Howard. Top 5. 6th is J.D. Laird. 7th, E.J. O'Rourke. 8th to Joey Jattina. Brian Macklin had trouble in his pit box there, slid through and lost a handful of positions. 7 to be exact. He falls back to 9th. And Chad Cole with the damage early on and trying to work his way, claw his way back up to the front, will restart in 10th. So here we go. 32 laps to settle it. Gael, do you think we've seen our last caution flag of the night?
Gonna guess no. I think business is gonna start picking up. They'll say we've seen a couple of those slide job attempts. I think it's gonna get a little more aggressive now, and it still might be a little tight on fuel, so it'll be pretty interesting here.
Find out. Pace car to the safety of pit road. 2 by 2, and the green flag back in the air for Trey Edson. He'll lead the field down into turn number 1. A great restart for the 40 machine as they'll go side by side for second behind. That's Coleman on the inside, Ryan on the outside.
Yeah, it was a really good start, and saying that bottom line looks like it's going to prevail. Chad Coleman able to get up to second position there, and Tommy Ryan squeezed right in behind him and hold on to third.
So a close call there for that third position. Here comes E.J. O'Rourke to the inside of Ryan Howard. That will be for 4th on the front stretch, and already that top line looking dominant. Look at Brian Macklin trying to make it 3 wide. Not trying to, had it 3 wide there for a brief moment, almost 4 wide on the front straightaway as Macklin gets up to the top side of the speedway and starts to roll the Congo line around the safer barrier. Macklin up to, looks like 6th position. After restarting 9th here, he is on the move in that number 30 machine.
Yeah, that was a really good restart. I'd say it's pretty tough to gain positions as you see at the beginning, just from everybody's at the bottom for that first half lap to lap or so, and then everybody jumps straight to the top. So So now it's going to be all these guys on the bottom trying to find a way to squeeze their way back up top here and keep that momentum.
Absolutely, and we've got a lot of eyes going on around the middle of the pack, so trying to keep one eye open back there and one eye up the front of the field. Chad Cole, about the only truck trapped on the inside the top 10. Little draft there for later down the front stretch, trying to maybe slide the 41 here in 1 and 2, but O'Rourke just so much powerful there on the outside. He'll get the good run off of turn 2. Look at Macklin in front of him there. Big checkup off turn 2. Laird had to jump out of the throttle. That allows Chad Cole to fall in the line behind E.J. O'Rourke. So he finds a spot around the top side of the racetrack. Up front, Chad Coleman trying to reel in Trey Edson in the final 28 laps of this one.
Yeah, I'll say Coleman hasn't really been up at the very, very front here until recently, so it'll be interesting to see what he's able to do here with that number 20 truck. I'd say we saw Trey Edson was able to check out to about a second lead on that last run, so pretty sure Coleman will keep him pretty honest here. He's been running really well, obviously starting 8th and just kind of methodically worked his way up now up to 2nd place.
Absolutely, boy, look at it's like Chad Cole again down there in the 82 trying to make something work on the bottom side of the racetrack. It looks like the 30 machine of Macklin just can't get going on the restarts, and it's really clogging that outside line up. Cole doing everything he can to make up some positions while the tires are somewhat still a little fresh. The 82 picked off E.J. O'Rourke. If he could just find a spot either in between the 46 and the 30 or the 46 and the 41 and crash.
Yeah, there's a big wreck in 3 and 4. I'll have to take a look at the replay on that one. I'm trying to see who it involved. Looks like the 38 of Richard Swaverly, and unfortunately,
my goodness.
So actually, it looks like it started up further than that.
It was John Mushton in the 3. Got a little bit of help maybe from the 08 of O'Leary. And Mushton went on a wild ride up and into the catch fence and on his rough. And, well, we didn't tell him to do that.
No, I don't think that went to plan, but yeah, I don't think he'll be very happy about how that started, because it just seemed like, unfortunately, just the 08 just kind of didn't enter the turn there, and yeah, so he got into him, and since from there, it just kind of was a bit of a mess. So I say the 2 got caught up in it. Was that Kellogg's truck that stayed out earlier as well, the 38.
Swaveley. Keaton
Jimmy North barely squeezed through there. Randy Yoakum as well. I don't know how he got through there.
Tell you what, Michael Keaton took a sledgehammer of a hit to the outside wall, overcorrected, and big junk is about the only way I can describe what happened down in 3 and 4. Nonetheless, though, leaders down pit road. Who's going to take 2? Who's going to take 4? Looks like Gottschalk takes 2. And maybe Trey Edson in the 40 as well.
Yeah, I believe Trey, judging by the pit stop time, so I got to wait for everything to cycle through. But yeah, it looks like Trey Edson, Steve Gottschalk, Brian Macklin, Chad Cole. Looks like they all took 2 tires. EJ as well. I think Coleman, Ryan, and Howard are the first ones that took 4. I'll have to see how everything shakes out once they cross timing again. And then, yeah, it looks like even bigger strategy here is Justin Fuller in the 51 after that early damage. He actually is staying out to see what he can do on these older tires with about what 20 laps to go, I believe, once we restart.
Wow. So buckle up. Things could get wild. Look at Mark Creighton. He's scratch that. He's a handful laps down, 5 laps down to be exact there for the 80 machine. So he's trying to get a couple laps back himself. But Justin Fuller, I don't know if this is point strategy or if he's actually going to restart this race out front. We'll wait and see, though. Nonetheless, 51 leads here at Kansas. We're getting close to crunch time here on the Sim Racing Network. We'll take another quick commercial break before we go green. We'll be back with the restart.
All right. right, Watson, let's analyze the chemicals in this cigarette smoke. Cadmium?
Check.
Formaldehyde?
Check.
Arsenic?
Sir, isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Yeah, isn't arsenic what they use in rat poison?
Oh, what was I thinking, sir? It's not like we're gonna smoke them.
Neither will the rats.
Tobacco is no joke. Cigarette smoke has over 7,000 chemicals. Learn more at thefactsnow.com.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to Kansas Speedway. It's Justin Fuller on the 0 tires versus a handful of trucks on 2, and then a plethora of trucks on 4. So that's 1 truck on none, a couple on 2, and a lot on 4 if you couldn't decipher the big words there. Justin Fuller chooses the inside line for this restart. 22 laps to go. And he'll start side by side with Trey Edson. Boy, this is going to get interesting as they go down into turn number 1. It's going to be interesting as they come up to speed. Pace car to pit road. Field in the hands of Justin Fuller. He's in the gas, and we are back underway.
Yeah, pretty good restart by him. Unfortunately, I say that was going to be, I think, the restart that Steve Gottschalk needed to try to take advantage of. But Trey Edson was able to clear him and get to the bottom as well. So now I think Steve's primary goal number 1 is to try to find his way to the top and squeeze in there between, as we go 3 wide for the lead.
How about that? Gottschalk says, pardon me, coming through. I got a race to try and win, and Gottschalk going for the lead down in 3 and 4. He's to the inside of Trey Edson, side by side for the lead. Here comes Brian Macklin back in the mix as well. There in that number 30, and throw E.J. O'Rourke in that battle for the win as well.
Yeah, so he's able to at least get by the 51 there, but yeah, so now it's just he's going to try to find that way to slide into the slide up top and get some of that momentum back and then make another run for it.
And how about Mr. Where Did He Come From? Chad Cole has cracked the top 5 after some tire strategy there and trying to battle with Gottschalk for that 4th position. Macklin down to the inside, now up to the top side of the racetrack, playing the block game with the number 40 machine up front with 20 laps to go. It's crunch time here at Kansas.
Yeah, everybody's been finding hard to keep that track position now, so you're going to see a lot of jockeying for position. Say Chad Cole is just about to clear the 91. I think he might be able to finish the job here off of 3 and 4, and then actually right behind him, Kevin DeBrown's done a really good job of getting back up after his nose damage as well. So, it's pretty good. Some pretty good recovery drives here.
Absolutely, Brown up to 6th now as Gottschalk finds a hole just in front of Joey Jettina. And look at Jason Barham there in the 83. Great run for the 83 tonight as he is inside the top 10. Sits 8th right now. And how about that gaggle of trucks running down into turn number 3 from 7th on back? Gottschalk and Barham lead that side-by-side battle for about, I'd say 4, 5, 6 trucks deep. And how about the move by Jettina off turn 4?
Yeah, they're going for everything they can get right now. So let's say you see Barham runs it really deep into 1 and 2 here. He's going to see if he can slide right up in front of Steve and hopefully be able to hold that position. Say Steve's, yeah, it looks like he's able to give him a little bit of room. He's got to be careful. Now the 46 is diving on the inside. He's going to try to do the exact same thing.
So Lair going to try to slide her over in turn 4. Gets clear of the 91, but he's almost side by side with the 83 there. And Howard now to the outside of Gottschalk. So Gottschalk just falling back. Maybe the 2 tires not really handling as well as he likes on that number 91 Silverado.
Yeah, I think maybe a combo of that and just also just you kind of lose that momentum, and then from there on out, it's just almost like these guys just kind of smell blood in the water, and they'll go after any kind of vulnerable situation they can take advantage of, really.
Absolutely. So Chad Cole has moved up to 4th, Kevin Brown up to 5th, and a challenge for the lead as Macklin all over the bumper of Trey Edson. 15 laps to go this time by at Kansas. Time running out. When do you make the move? And, well, how do you make the move?
Yeah, I think we know how, but the win is going to be a critical thing. But the how is going to take a lot of commitment and just a lot of luck as well. And so I think he's going to have to see the 40 make a small mistake and then just pounce on it as soon as he can. But I mean, Trey's ran pretty much a picture-perfect race that we've seen so far. I apologize in advance if I jinxed you, Trey. I said we saw that one wall scrub a little early in the race, but I mean his truck looks really clean, so I don't think that did any damage. But yeah, Brian's just waiting to try to find somewhere to make that move.
Waiting to pounce. We saw Edson come a couple times close to the wall, down in 1 and 2. All it takes is a couple more inches to the outside, closer to that safer barrier, for it to kind of grab hold of that truck and take him for a ride, as our producer gives us the giggles up in the booth, as he does pretty much every Wednesday night. We always have a good laugh at one part of the race. Nonetheless, though, Macklin's still on the bumper. O'Rourke is there. Chad Cole is there. And the battle for 5th starting to heat up between Brown, Barham, and Laird. Barham all over the bumper of that number 93 machine.
Yeah, Barham's had a really good run. I say started 5th, running 6th, so he's been kind of just hanging around the topmost. I think he's kind of bounced around a little bit during the race, but and then of course we mentioned JD Laird starting 34th, was all the way up front, lost some positions. Like now he's trying to get that position as we speak, so he's going to send it down into 3. Say, well, let's see if he can make it stick, and then try to slide it up off on the exit. Say, gets as close as possible, but just can't quite finish it. And that's,
look at that. Barham had to get out of the throttle for just a moment, and Ryan Howard almost took advantage of it, sneaking to the outside there in the 33. That's what you got to watch out for off the turns. If you get a bad exit, you better protect the outside, just like Edson said on the grid when we chatted with him earlier. Laird not going to really fare well for the driver to 46, as he'll fall back into the clutches of more drivers on that outside line. Still trying to make the bottom work, but I think it's just a little bit too far in the run for that to happen for the number 46. Up front, though, Macklin still trying to find a way around the number 40 machine out in front of this field, coming to the line this time. It'll be 10 laps to go, 15 more miles from Kansas.
Yeah, so he hasn't really lost too much ground. I'm saying at this point, really, I think that's the best he can do, is just to kind of keep that pressure on Trey, try to see if he can force a small mistake. But then if not, I think I'm not sure, maybe around that 5 to go, because obviously at that point, if a caution comes out, it ends it. So it might just be send it and see if you can make something happen.
Send it and hope for the best, kind of like in a 410 sprint car, and when the track's real slick, you don't know what's going to happen when you hit the slick stuff down low, so you just hope and pray that the best happens, and we'll see if that's what happens between Macklin and Edson. Going at it for the lead, O'Rourke is in a prime position to finish on the podium tonight. That'd be a great run for the WCIParts.com's number 41 Silverado there. Chad Cole has overcome a lot of adversity to get back up into the 4th spot, and as has Kevin Brown back in 5th there. Great run back up to the field for that NOS Energy number 93 Silverado as they race to the back straightaway. Jason Barham trying to have a good run tonight, maybe finish inside the top 5 as well as he works to get around that number 93.
Yeah, so it looks like he just kind of slipped off a little bit at the back of Brian Macklin, so it might be possibly a 2-truck race here for the win. I'm saying I think that you're going to see the same thing with Chad Cole, just try to find that right spot to kind of try to take advantage, find that little extra momentum on exit where he can maybe get to like his quarter panel or even side by side, that we can really dive it into one of the turns and try to make something happen.
Did we see a bumper maybe come into play here late in the run? Maybe try and scoot him up all the way up against the safer barrier in the center of one of the turns. That's definitely a possibility. How about the block game for fifth? Brown takes Barham all the way to the safer barrier. Barham says, I'll take you all the way to the apron. Looking for a slider down in turn number 1 and 2 for the 5th spot. Macklin tried to slider for the lead. Didn't fare so well for the 30 machine. Didn't fare so well for the 83 as well. He loses 1 position to Ryan Howard, who is now on the bumper.
Yeah, I'd say Macklin's starting to move around a little bit. So he went to the bottom there as well in 3 and 4. Gains a little bit of time in the turn, but really, they're really fighting there in the back. To say, like you were talking about protecting that top. Kevin Brown's really protecting that top for all he's worth right now. So now it's Ryan Howard that he was trying to protect it from. So, yeah, say 3 wide and 1 and 2. It's getting really dicey there for about that 5th position on back.
I think every one of these trucks is faster than Kevin Brown with the damage out in front, but he's just doing his best to hold on to 5th. Macklin trying that bottom groove may have sealed the deal for Trey Edson with 5 laps to go at Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, you got to try something at some point different. Maybe, like I said, you just find that 1 lap where you get a little bit better grip from on the bottom line, and that's what you need before he can react. But yeah, it does look like the top is still where you need to be. He's still running really good lap times though. So it looks like he closed a little bit off of 2 there. So he's kind of now recommitted himself to the top. So I think, yeah, just gotta try to get that little bit extra, see if he can squeeze it a little more out of it. Probably you'll see him get a little closer and closer to the walls. They really, again, they're fighting for that very top side for that 5th position. They're going at it.
I've never seen anybody run that close to the safer barrier on the front stretch. Brown is doing everything he can to hold on to that 5th spot. Has it for now, but Ryan Howard, Tommy Ryan, Jason Barham, Chad Coleman, and J.D. Laird, they all want to get it from him, and they're crashing down into turn 3. Barham into the wall, keeps it straight somehow, and will stay green. That would have ended the race certainly there, but look at these guys. Brown all the way up the racetrack, does not want to let the 33 get to his outside.
Like you said, I've never seen people fight for the top in the tri-oval like this before. This is definitely a new one. Just shows you how important it is. But man, Macklin is right back on the bumper of Trey Edson. So I say you talked about maybe seeing a little bit of a bump and run. It's very possible. I'll say he's put down some good laps there. He's a 1/10 of a second faster.
There is so much going on. Look at this. Howard down to the bottom of the racetrack trying to make the move. Now he's trying to maybe squeeze up to the top, and they get into the wall. Ryan down to the inside, coming back up the track. Contact there, and caution is out. That'll do it. Tommy Ryan into Joey Jettina, ending the race under caution here at Kansas, and that's going to give the win to Trey Edson. That all happened when Ryan Howard tried to, squeeze, maybe trick Brown into going low there. Then he went up to the top side, and he just, I hate to say it, but he just drove straight into the wall.
Yeah, we talked about the bad luck for Steve Gottschalk. He got a good chunk of that as well. I think he'll at least be able to finish it there under the yellow. Looks like maybe salvage that top 10, but yeah, another one that he was looking for more, unfortunately. But yeah, that was a really good job by Trey Edson all night. I think Brian Macklin would have given him a good run for his money there off the on that last lap, but just couldn't quite get there. Didn't get that 1 lap.
So there you have it. That'll be the finish as Trey Edson comes off of corner number 4. This time by to pick up the victory here at Kansas Speedway. All this may change in the June build with green-white checkers coming out. We're one of the harshest broadcast companies with the green-white checkers, and we really push for it, and hopefully we'll see them in June. Trey Edson, though, gonna win here at Kansas. Second goes to Brian Macklin. Third, E.J. O'Rourke. Chad Cole 4th, and Kevin Brown rounds out the top 5. We'll talk to the podium finishers, and don't go anywhere because Trey Edson's going to burn it down on corner to corner. We're going to keep on trucking. When we come back, it'll be the post-race show from Kansas.
Watson, let's analyze the chemicals in this cigarette smoke. Cadmium?
Check.
Formaldehyde?
Check.
Arsenic?
Sir, isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Yeah, isn't arsenic what they use in rat poison?
Oh, what was I thinking, sir? It's not like we're gonna smoke them.
Neither will the rats.
Tobacco is no joke. Cigarette smoke has over 7,000 chemicals. Learn more at thefactsnow.com.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to Kansas Speedway, and it's now time for the post-race interviews. And to kick it all off, we'll send it down to Gael Brooks, who is caught up with the Talladega winner and finishing third tonight. A great run for the driver with the series sponsor on his truck, the WCIparts.com Chevrolet Silverado, putting it on the podium tonight. What does O'Rourke have to say about this, wild and fun race, Gael?
Yeah, so I caught up with the EJ here in the, like I said, the number 41 WCIparts.com Silverado. Say, always good to give the series sponsor an interview here, EJ. So tell us what you thought about the race there tonight.
You know, to be completely honest with you, it was actually fun. Tracks you would think that you run flat out to the floor wouldn't be fun, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
So, I mean, obviously everybody was fighting to try to protect that top side for most of the race. Let's say, was that pretty much just strategy from you for the get-go, or was there any points in time where you able to try to move around as tires wore, or was it pretty much just ride the wall as much as you can?
Yeah, there was a couple guys. J.D. Laird, I saw him trying to move around and mostly trying to run the bottom, and Macklin a little bit too. But I wasn't comfortable with it. I just like to kind of put it against the rim and stick it there. And I think I only caught the fence once, just a little bit when I was leading or in second there early on. But I took 2 tires in the beginning of the race, and I felt really good. So I took tires on the final. Took 2 tires on the final pit stop, and it felt good.
Yeah, we talked about that early on too, that you were one of the first to try the 2-tire strategy at the beginning, and that it might pay dividends to try it again towards the end of the race if you do get that kind of a situation for a late race restart. So I say that worked out perfectly for you to have a feel for what to expect for that final run.
Right. I got a win a couple weeks ago at Talladega, and I've had some good runs, so I'm sitting okay in the points. So I figured, why not take a shot? Only 3 laps or whatever the heck it was on the left side. So I figured at a track it's hard to pass, and you don't lift for a little bit. It'd feel good. It held on better than I thought. So I mean, why not?
No, it makes perfect sense. I definitely want to give you the opportunity here while you've got the time, though. Any shout-outs or thanks you'd like to give?
Definitely WCI Parts. I appreciate them jumping on board the Silverado in the beginning of the season. It's cool because I won the championship in 2017 with them as the series title sponsor. So hopefully 2019 is a little more of the same. It'd be interesting to see what we can do in this WCI Parts, Papa's Hardware, Southern Freight, Trucking, Chevy Silverado.
There you have it, the third place finisher going for another series championship with WCI parts, on the hood of his Chevrolet Silverado. And saying that was third place finisher. And I believe we're gonna go back to Ben and get some more of the race results.
Absolutely. As we wait for you to catch up with Brian Macklin, talk about 6th through 10th. Ryan Howard comes home 6th, Chad Coleman 7th, J.D. Laird 8th, Steve Gottschalk 9th, and Thomas O'Leary going to round out the top 10. Big mover there in that group was J.D. Laird from 34th up to 8th. Great run for him. Great run, though, for the driver of the number 30 machine, who Gael's caught up with now down on pit road. He was close, and maybe that caution came out just a little bit too early for Macklin, who may have wanted a last-ditch effort, last final shot at Trey Edson there in the final closing laps.
Yeah, I caught up with the number 30 Toyota Tundra, sponsored by the Navy, on the second place finisher. Guessing that caution came out just a little sooner than you would have liked to see to try to make that one last lap dive for the win there. It looked like you were trying some things and maybe setting up some ideas there for last run.
Yeah, man, we were so good on the long run tonight. On every long run that we had, I felt like we were quicker than Trey, and it sucked to have the cautions fall the way they did. And would have been nice to have seen that go to the finish just to see what would have happened. But overall, I got to be really excited about this finish because we kind of missed a few races to start the season, so we're in a hole with the points. But 2 top 5s to start off our run in this series is pretty good.
Did you have a game plan what you were going to try to do? As you were kind of maybe replaying it through your head now, unfortunately, for what maybe move you were going to aim to do?
I think the obvious move is that I was going to try to make the slide job work down in turns 3 and 4 on the last lap. It's just so hard to pass on the outside line unless the guy in front of you makes a mistake, or you can get a run down the front stretch to get to their outside. Going to the bottom and hoping the slide job is really the only way you can make it work. And that's probably the move I would have tried to make. Unfortunately, we don't have redos in this, and I can't go back and fix it or do it again. So we'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah, we saw some definite battling. First time we've ever seen it. Trucks are actually battling to stay up against the very top of the wall through the trial. Was something I've never seen before, just to protect that top side. There is the potential for green-white checkers in the upcoming June build, so you never know how things will shake up with that one. But definitely want to give you the opportunity, though, if you have any thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give.
Yeah, I got to thank everybody back at Aftermath Motorsports, all my teammates, Justin, Trey, EJ, Adam, everybody, David, Comstock, all those guys that worked with us every single week. And obviously got to be thankful to everybody in our military. I've ran this Navy paint scheme for a long time. And just thank you to everybody that goes out and serves for our country. You do something that a lot of us don't have the courage to do, and it definitely pays dividends to everybody that's back home staying safe. So other than that, just got to thank you guys for putting on such a great show. Everybody at Sim500 for providing the series and providing such good racing week in and week out.
All right, there you have it from our second place finisher, the number 30 Navy Toyota Tundra. As I believe our Ben Kilcrease has caught up with the race winner, Trey Edson.
Thank you very much, Gael. Started on the pole, led the most laps. Pretty quick in practice. I can't remember exactly where he finished in practice, but that really doesn't matter now. All that matters now is Trey Edson pretty much dominated. Oh, okay. He was first in practice too, so pretty much swept the board tonight. You didn't lead all the laps, but pretty dang near close. Trey, just walk us through this dominating run tonight. Brian Macklin eased up on your bumper there a couple times on the long runs. Were you still saving at that point, or were you kind of sweating that he was going to get around you?
He definitely had me sweating because right there at the end, especially, I wasn't going 100% because it was pretty tight on those 2 tires there at the end. He was just making it work better than I could do. I don't know what he had figured out, but he was killing me down in turns 1 and 2. But he is a teammate. I was around teammates all night long, so there was a sense of comfort, but you never know. Like I told Brian, I was like, I'll understand. You got to do what you got to do to win the race. So I was fully expecting a Carl Edwards type of move there if we would have came to the checkered. But the bottom, I knew that wasn't really a factor. Once you got up to speed, so I just, like I said, told you before the race, we just kind of have to put it up against the wall and hope you keep your truck clean. I had a freaky moment there. I lost sound, like game sound, halfway through the race. So I think it was like lap 30 to 60, somewhere in there. I was out there digging with no sound, so that was kind of strange to not be able to hear the engine and stuff like that. I was able to get that corrected once the caution come out. But yeah, it was just a clean race. I think cautions kind of fell my way. It seemed like every time I would start to fade and they would start to kind of come back to me, I would get a caution. So I'm usually pretty good on long runs, but clearly not at Kansas. I didn't even feel like I was going hard and still was chewing up my tires more than them. But hey, I'll take it. I usually don't lead laps and dominate. I'm usually one of them that kind of sneak in there at the last second and steal it from somebody. So EJ stayed out and led a lap, and Fuller stayed out and led a lap. So they kind of ruined shutout or no hitter, whatever you want to call it. But I'll take it, man. Had a rough few weeks in the league, I've torn up a lot of stuff, so it's nice to get back to victory lane.
Absolutely. Second win in the season so far. Good points night for you heading into next week at Charlotte. Feeling pretty comfortable about that one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's at night like this one, so it'll be a lot of grip. Different story though. I don't think we'll be out near the wall. That's my home track. I grew up about 2 or 3 miles from there, so I always like running Charlotte. I do not have the best luck though, so if I end up on my lid or something, I don't know if I put pressure on myself when we go to Charlotte. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I'm good there. I've probably won 2 or 3 races my whole sim racing career, so that's 16 years of sim racing at one track, and I hadn't had a lot of luck there. So hopefully, can keep the streak going and do good at the home track. I got to thank Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. They've been on board all year except Daytona, but once they came on board, we kind of got the ship righted and started climbing up the point standings. And WCI parts, Sim500, it's an awesome league to be a part of. You guys do a great job, not only for our league but other broadcasts I've watched. So it's cool to be a part of.
Well, there you have it, Trey Edson. Performance, got the thanks out of the way and everything. We wish you luck and going for win number 3 next week.
Yes, sir. You guys have a good one.
There you have it, Trey Edson, winner tonight here at Kansas. A great performance by the driver of the number 40 machine. A great showing by all the racers here tonight. We had a couple of big ones and some mishaps here and there, but all in all, Gael, a great show from Kansas, and I'm really looking forward to Charlotte next week as well.
Yeah, Charlotte's gonna put on a pretty good show. So we did some laps there recently, and like I said, they probably won't be rim riding it as much, but I think you will see the groove move around, especially in 1 and 2. I've noticed you can run the bottom, but I tried a couple laps where I'd be running the top, and you could get a pretty good amount of momentum there up top. So I'll be curious to see if they're able to do something like that as well. But yeah, I mean, for needing to pretty much fight for that whole top line all race tonight, I think the drivers did a really good job. Where it's a tough track to pass. Obviously, Trey did a really good job holding his track position from the pole position. Just, yeah, like I said, just pretty much dominated the race tonight. Then you saw still some guys were able to make a lot of ground from starting in those deep 30s positions to get it back up into the top 10. So, say a lot of good racing. I say some drama with the attempted slide jobs, but that's part of racing.
Certainly is, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. No more broadcasts until Sunday for us here on the Sim Racing Network when the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Sunday Series kicks back off after a week off of competition. Be sure to tune in for that, and well, have a great weekend from everybody here at the Sim Racing Network. For Gael Brooks, Aaron Grosskopf, I am Ben Kilcrease saying good night. Remember, when you're out there on the roads, to put that phone down. We'll see you next Wednesday at Charlotte.